My HVAC expert, Nathan Shafer. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. How are you?
I am living the dream, and of course, I'm phenomenal as well. Hey, a question's come in from one of our listeners, Roger, and he's asking, how important is the proper sealing of my ductwork? He's talking about HVAC.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, Roger. And so it's one of those things that's kind of out of sight, out of mind, right? We see the equipment. Oftentimes we don't until there's a problem, but we see that, we talk about that. Unfortunately, even as an industry as a whole, and oftentimes the things that are overlooked, which is ultimately probably the most important, and most of the all problems tie back to, and that is airflow. And so airflow comes through the door. So every house, right, that has a forced air system, where you have air heating or cooling blowing on your vents, is tied to a duct system, as in DUCT, right? Not DUCK, not a duct system, but a duct system. And so all the air is being dispersed out that duct system, is being pulled back through it back to the equipment and dispersed back out. So it's just circulating back and forth. So what happens a lot of times is, and I think to answer Roger's question correctly, there are a lot of systems that are missized or undersized in the ductwork. So number one, it's very important to make sure that your HVAC contractor is doing a proper calculation and load sizing, not only for the equipment, but also too, to make sure that the ductwork matches the equipment, especially with new equipment in today's market. Just like vehicles, the old vehicle, I know I relate to vehicles a lot, but we all drive a car. And so I think it's common, easy for us to relate to. The old vehicles you can fix very simply with or simpler, I guess, maybe I couldn't, but because wrench, right? A couple hand tools. Well, now today you got to have the computers or so many safety switches and sensors and all these different things. HVAC and everything else is no different. And so because there's so much electronics now in the new systems, even the base model systems and safety switches, it's extremely important. They will not work on improperly sized ductwork.
Mm.
But to Roger's point, I think that the big part of that too is making sure that it's sealed correctly. And so, if you look at, I've actually, this is something that we talk about all the time in the homes with our clients. Um, is the sealing of the ductwork. According to like the Department of Energy, it's 95% likely to have leaks in your ductwork,
Mhm.
right? And so, and that's across the United States, not just right here in our market, but that's everywhere. Where 95% have leaks in the ductwork. It's coming from the connections. It's coming from little holes. It's coming from the seams, right? And so whether that's in your attic, whether it's in your crawl space, whether it's in your walls, that means you're sucking air from those places in the returns, which could be tying into your air quality, your allergies, the dust, et cetera, in your home, and or the hot and cold temperatures, as well as you're putting heating or cooling into those places that you don't want to. So we want all that air to be circulating in the living space and not all those other areas. And with that, they also show, according to the Department of Energy, they've done studies, and they say that of the air that that system is making, 25 to 40% on the average duct system is being leaked out of the ductwork and not going into that living space. 25 to 40% in 95% of the systems out there. Staggering numbers, right? So what happens is let's say we're going into summer right now and you're thinking, heck, I mean, I want to make sure either A, my existing system is good, right? And everything I'm getting out of it, I'm getting into my house. And or B, you're looking at a new system. Like, I'm going to buy a new high efficient system, and we'll just pick a SEER rating, right? We'll just say it's um, a, a 20 SEER system,
Mm.
right? Or 16, doesn't make a difference. And you go to put that in, they have Department of Energy has done studies on this. If you think you're buying, let's say, a 20 SEER system, on average, you're going to be getting anywhere from 10 to 16 SEER out of it because of the air leakage, right? Or a 16
Wow.
SEER system, you're getting 8 to 13 SEER rating out of it. So I just have to say, you want to protect your investment, and you want to make whether it's existing system and or new, and make sure that those ducts are sealed. Now, another common question we'll get when it comes to that is, well, geez, Nathan, that sounds great. And all my duct works, it's in the walls, right? It's above the drywall ceiling in the basement. That sounds good. And I want to fix that, but man, I'm not looking for a whole demolition, project. And the cool thing is, in years past, yes, you would have had to tear all that out and try to seal it with a mastic seal or proper duct seal or tape, etc. But that's not the case now. We have state of the art Aeroseal technology where we can actually seal all of that ductwork from inside the ductwork. We can access it right from your equipment and from each of the registers. And we run through, we go do a test beforehand, so we can show you exactly how much air is leaking out of that system. We go through, we clean it, we sanitize it from the inside, and then we seal it from the inside. We can get every inch of ductwork throughout your entire house, no matter how the size or how far away it is or what it's covered up by. And then we'll do a test afterwards and give you a printout, and you'll know exactly what's leaking or not leaking afterwards and how airtight that system is. So you can see that energy savings difference. So once again, one of those things that's completely in the dark, you don't see it, but it's crucial when it comes to efficiency, comfort, and health of your system.
Nathan, it's really important. It's kind of like if you have a really good amplifier for your music. Back in the day, people had AM, FM amplifiers, right? You'd start with that, then there would be, and some people still do use these, and have a speaker cord going to your speaker. Well,
Mm-hmm.
the AM, FM amplifier, as it was called, was like the HVAC unit. It's great, but it's only as good as the speakers. If you have lousy speakers, it's
Yep.
not going to sound really good. Actually, I'd rather have better speakers and a lesser quality amplifier bringing the music through. It's the same thing here, isn't it? You could have the best
100%.
Sear HVAC system, brand new, super high efficiency, but if the air isn't going in properly and going out through the supply properly, it's like bad speakers.
Absolutely. You're 100% correct. It's another cool thing I've seen here recently was it was where the New York Times, right? Uh they had the McKinney and Company do a study of different types of home improvements and what makes the biggest difference when it comes to efficiencies and savings inside the home. And you think of the normal things, right? Like insulation, definitely high on the list. You think about things like sealing the overall home for leaks and insulating your basement or just different things like that, right? But the number one thing on there, and by far, was sealing your ductwork.
Mm.
And so, once again, one of those things that unfortunately does not get talked about much, and it kind of gets forgotten. And we go to the initial things, which are very important: your windows and insulation, everything else, 100%. But sealing the ductwork can have oftentimes, in the average of homes, even a bigger impact. And so, you start compiling all those things together, now you can start putting money back in your pocket instead of the utility companies, living more comfortably, prolong the life of your equipment, and cleaning healthier air. So, or breathing healthy air, not cleaning healthy air, breathing healthy air.
Perfect. Awesome. I really appreciate you coming on the program. All of Nathan's information is located in the description of this podcast. He's just one click away. Thank you, my friend.
Good to see you. See you later.